Welcome to yet another episode on Alphos e-learning platform of Senior Inter English of Telangana State. I am Jay Madan Paul, lecturer in English in Alphos Educational Institution. Dear students, welcome to yet another episode. Today we look at a touching story which is given in the Senior English textbook. The fourth story given, titled The Awakening. This is one of the moving stories written by the most famous Indian writer in English, Shashi Deshapande, born in 1938. She is almost 81 years old now. She won Sahitya Academy Award for her famous novel. Then she won Padma Shri Award and is considered to be one of the noted Indian writers in English. Here we are with a beautiful story titled The Awakening. Students, as you know, Shashi Deshapande's main theme is marital relation. Status of middle class women. Being a woman, Shashi Deshapande had been like a stethoscope towards women, absorbing all the pulses of marital relations and status of middle class women. It is a moving story of a young girl named Alka. Alka is the main character. She faces the hard realities of life. A typical lower middle class family girl. She lives with her parents and siblings in a dirty town. In the dirtiest colony, in a dirty single room, she lives. 6 lives in a single room. Coming to her father, he was 45 years old. A calm and quiet man, a postal clerk, struggling hard in life to make both ends meet. 45 years old father, Alka calls her Baba. Alka is 17 years old now. The main character of our story is 17 years old, just completing her SSC. Eagerly waiting for the result, but Alka is happy because Alka had been an industrious student. She is eagerly waiting for a colorful result. But Alka has 2 sisters, Rekha and Shobha. Rekha just stopped her studies after 9th class and is at home looking for her marriage. Yes, parents are looking for her marriage. And the other sister, Shobha, she is still going to school. And then a 3rd child was born to Baba, her brother, named Shirish. But the fate of God, Shirish was polio-stricken. This is the family of Alka. The story Awakening begins here. Alka, the central character of the story, 17 years old girl, is going to complete her SSC and is now fed up with the living conditions. She is living in a dirty soul. No escape from this horrible condition. Her dreams are high. Her aims are sky-reaching. But when will she get this dream fulfilled? A teenage girl with millions of dreams in her life. When the story begins, we find Mother and Alka in the dirty town having a hot conversation. Yes, it's very common. Every time there is a quarrel in the house, and most often it is between Alka and any other members of the house. Think it over. I opened my mouth. What to say I did not understand. Should I shout? Should I protest? Should I cry? Nothing seemed appropriate. I closed my mouth again. What is the need of shouting? Who will hear my cry? What a noise here. One cannot stay here. It is really a hell. There was Baba sitting there silently. A man who brought into this world more number of children than he could take care of with his limited salary. A daughter to be married, a son stricken with polio, another girl yet going to school, and I, Alka, who will soon be passing her SSC. The conclusion is, it is impossible and it is inescapable to me. Alka understood. Yes, I thought for a while. Yes, I have mused all these things. I have thought about all these things, and I know I have no escape at all. Then Baba, who was sitting there in the corner, asked, Alka, what? Oh, in this room, one should shout out to tell something. Who can hear here? Full of noise. See, in the corner there, stove hissing loudly. The onion spluttering in the oil there. Rekha with her radio. And there, Shobha and Shirish, both squabbling all the time, quarreling all the time. Oh, what a hell it is. What a hell. Hey, what do you say? Hell? Yes, it's a hell. Alka said, how dare you to call it a hell? It's a hell. Hey, Alka, what do you talk? Yes, who can hear here in this hell? It is like a zoo. Even in zoo, animals won't live in single room. Then you go and live there yourself. Shirish shouted repeatedly. Hey Alka, calling your family animals? How dare you? Mind your tongue, Alka. Mother shouted out. That was mother. God made mothers because he wouldn't be every time himself here. But here is a mother. What a nonsense. There are mothers and mothers and mothers. Mine is a woman with a heavy, dull face, never happy, never talks to. And I don't know what a rude woman she is. Rudeness, impudence, nothing more than that. See her venomous look. This was how Alka thought about her mother. And that man, my Baba, how did he bear to live with her? With all her impudence, these many years, with all her venomous look. Poor Baba, how he suffered under this woman. No doubt, our Baba is a saint. Saint? Who can be called a saint? An unthinking man, unfeeling man, walking like a zombie, a dead corpse. Saint? He is not a saint. He is a fool. Not simply a fool, a blind fool. It's not optimism, but it is idiocy. If only he had been able to take care of the children, live happily, I would have called him a saint. But no, I will never forgive him. I will never forgive him. Students, see the emotions flowing out, overflowing from the heart of Alka. A girl who had sky-reaching dreams, millions of dreams she lives in. But every moment she realizes her dreams will never be fulfilled. Calling her father a fool, a foolish blind man, a zombie. And mother, she would be thankful for what we have done for her. After all, Rekha left school after her 9th standard. And I am finishing my SSC. See how mother tells there? Hey, Alka, you should be careful when you talk. How can you say that? We have been more careful about you, more thinking about you. See your Rekha? She stopped her studies when she was 9, and we allowed her alone, we allowed Alka alone to continue her studies. Mother, every time she calls, hey, don't you know my name? Don't you know to address me by my name? But yes, she knows very well, she knows the difference. She does not know my name. When she talks to son, to Shirish, oh, what a love, what a care, what a concern. You know, father came in between. Alka, Rekha was different. She was never interested in studies. So we allowed her to be at home. But Alka, you are a brainy girl. I know that. And I send you to school. Now you are going to pass out 10th. And certainly we will talking about me. Going to pass 10th class SSC. What is the use? What will I be able to do? Have I any escape from this house? I know what you have planned for me. You have planned for yet another typist job. I know that is what I am going to do now. You are talking about me. Yes, I have to give up my studies and I have to take that precious typist job under Patkar. Oh, Patkar, your friend has offered it, no? Oh, you will ruin my life. No one can save me. You will ruin my life. Alka, what do you say? Don't tell like that, Alka. Nobody can ruin your life. You don't be exaggerated. Me? Exaggerated? That is the one thing I am not. I do never exaggerate. You know, I am 25 unfulfilled dreams old. I am 17 years old, but I feel a million unfulfilled dreams old. Students, see the feelings of Alka, a teenage girl whom we may come across in our society with much reality and sensitivity. Shashi Deshpande presents the touching character of the touching story. Alka, no one can ruin your life. Don't be exaggerated. And you can come up in your life. What is the life? What is the use? Even if I have my dreams, will I be able to continue my studies? And this book, it's of no use. She threw it there. She threw down the book that she was trying to read. What is the real use of anything? Students, the scene ended. The scene ended. This was the quarrel scene we often see in Alka's house. And what the end you know? Throwing the book aside, Alka walked away into the gallery. And stood there in the gallery, supporting her elbow on the decaying, faded wooden railing and supporting her face on her palm. She stood there looking at the street. Yes, there and here, everywhere, people standing in the same pose, same way. She looked around. There through the street, a boy was walking. He stopped there, saw Alka standing there, and looked up with a smile on his face. He smiled at me. I too smiled back at him. Unless I make him happy, this is such a place, you know, especially boys. Very rude. So Alka gave him a smile. From the street, there came a question. When are your results? Next week. Going to get the first class? She replied with a smile. Yes. Alka went back to her past for a while. When I first came here from Nana's home, Nana, students, you know, her grandfather, Nana they call, was living in Pune. Actually, Alka and Rekha, when Alka was 3 years old and Rekha was 6 years old, both were taken by Nana to Pune. Nana, he was grandfather, he had a chemist shop and he lived happily. There, it was a heaven. It was a heaven. The 3-year-old Alka and 6-year-old Rekha, the sisters, both lived there together in Nana's house. It was a heaven compared to this shawl here. Good school, good uniform, black shoes. Oh, it all seems a dream, a dream. Sometimes Alka tried to think, how could my mother marry this Baba, marry this man? How could he marry Baba and get into this mess? Once I asked mother when we were in a moment of cordiality. Mom, I asked. But mother's answer was silence. Nothing she answered. But everything I knew one day, everything I could get, I could learn everything from, the past of my mother. It was a love affair. A love affair. This mother, the impudent, angry woman, she had fallen in love with my father, Baba. And they got married in spite of Nana's disapproval. There was one daughter. Then the next child was born. Then when the third child was born, it was a son. And then Nana understood. Yes, my daughter's life is going to be in trouble. So Nana from Pune came and picked Rekha and Alka and took them to his own home there in Pune. But one day Nana had to die, and when he died, we, Alka and Rekha, we too had to come back to this hell, where no doors, everywhere, every time the doors are open, everyone can see inside the room, and here inside, what else, anyone can look inside, where nothing is private, even the thoughts are never private, and surrounded by boys and girls, all mindless, stupid robots, not at all interested in anything except movies, clothes, and each other's bodies. And God knows if we will ever get out of this dirty chow, from this dirty colony. What is wrong? Rekha asked. Rekha, what do you say? What is wrong? Good God, you will never get out, Rekha. Rekha, you seem to be happy in this place. Oh, I feel pity for you. See, parents are looking for a marriage. What kind of alliance do they look for? Yes, they are looking again for a typist or a clerk. All clerks. One day, Rekha, you too will have the same fate of our mother. You too will get a dull man like our Baba. A dull typist or a clerk. You will marry and you will have children, and you too will settle in a chow like this, in a dirty room like this. Like mother, you too will live in life with 3 or 4 children. And what else? Your children also will in future become clerks. Oh God, all clerks, oh God. Then Rekha turned to Alka and said, Alka, what do you say? Are clerks not human beings? Are they not human beings? But Alka, why do you think them as clerks? They are also people. Alka cried out, you don't understand. I don't mean that they are no good people. They are all clerks. I mean their type always dull. Look at Baba, how dull he looks. They are all dull people. Alka really hated clerks in life. Might be her own father, her own Baba was a dull man that made her hate all clerks in life. The trouble is mother. Mother immediately told, hey, you don't know what you want. Alka, you only know what you do not want. It's not true. I do know what I want. I want to go to college. I want to attend lectures. I want to take down notes, and I want to read, and I want to pass exams. I want distinctions. I want to go abroad for further studies. Come back, take up a job, put up my own hair and wear glasses and crisp ironed sari. She remembered, yes, as she sees a woman standing there at the bus stop every day. And then one day marry. What kind of boy? The picture is blur. The face is blur. And I will never live in such a dirty soul. I will have a beautiful house and I will have my own clothes, not sharing from brothers, sisters and others at home. Never from a general pool of clothes. All dreams, more real than reality itself. They are mere dreams. Not even dreams, they are mere bubbles. Bubbles like the ones children blow out from soapy water. Rainbow colored. Beautiful, but once they go up in the air, in a moment, nothing. Mere bubbles. My dreams are. Students, see the painful thoughts and feelings of a teenage girl who is eagerly waiting for her 10th result. Millions of dreams she has. Hundreds of imaginations and fancies she has about life. Are they going to be fulfilled? Alka looked back for a while. Yes, I have been childishly thinking, dreaming of impossible things. I have got to be more realistic. Keep my feet on the floor, on this ground, on this cracked cement floor. I should, on this dirty towel, I should stand where I belong, to this dirty colony. I am trapped here. I will be a typist now. I will never become that girl like the girl I see in the bus stop. I will never become a girl like the girl I see in the bus stop. See, children, next moment, Alka completely become disheartened. See how beautifully Shashi Deshapande has woven the story. In a touching way, she tells the story. And sometimes, Alka used to run to the mirror, look at the mirror for a while, and of course, secretly, because there was Rekha, there was Sirish, there was mother, a single room, always looking at, then comparing her face with the girl she sees in the bus stop. She always looked sideward, looking at the mirror. This dark complexion, this long nose, this flat figure. Chichi, I can never become that girl in the bus stop. I am Alka alone. This dirty figure, dark complexioned Alka. I can never become that girl in the bus stop. And then, what is left? Father comes there and tells, Alka, I don't force you. I don't force you, Alka. I know that. You want to study, and I don't want to compel you to go for Parkar's typist job. But what to do? Parkar has offered this job to us. Why, you know? He knows our difficulty. A single man running a 6-membered family, identifying, understanding my difficulties in life, he has offered this job, Alka. And how can I say no? Since Shirish fell ill, I found it difficult to run the things, my daughter. But still I wish I could send you to college. I could send you to college. Next moment I understood. There was a big pit yawning in front of me, a big gulf. Just one more week for the results. And then the world had completely shattered with a shocking impact. Breaking not into pieces, but into dust, into meaningless nothingness. At that moment, the door was opened. 2 men entered in. Oh, they are Baba's colleagues. They entered strangely inside into the room with shocked face. And then, in a few seconds, there and hysteria. The two men who came in began talking to each other. How old was he? 45? Oh, too young to die. Was it the first attack? No, second attack. See, he already had one attack, but he did not inform anyone. You poor man, to go so fast in life. And what about the family? Isn't there any one of them working? Abba, three girls to get married. And the boy, polio-stricken. How sad. What an how irresponsible it is to have a large family like this in such a condition. How the things. Immediately, Shobha comes there crying. What are you talking about? What happened to my Baba? Shh, Shobha, please, be silent. Don't cry like a child. You will again make mother weep. And you will make Shirish also cry again. Don't cry now. Yes, Halka is going to take up a job. And certainly, that girl would take the responsibility of the entire family, the two men said. Halka, listening to all these things, did not even shed a drop of tear. A failure. It's a failure, Halka sat and thought. He could not even struggle with death. A man who went meekly, even in front of death, he was a failure. What is left? Nothing. Only duties incomplete. He lived and died a failure. Responsibility left, and I have to shoulder them now. No tears, nothing. He achieved nothing. He had done nothing in life, and he has done nothing to anyone. Not even once a word of happiness, not even once a thing given to us, nothing he gave us. Everything he did nothing, and a meaningless life. Halka began thinking the whole of her life. Any situation in her life where her Baba has done something good. Nothing. The crying went down after a while. Halka sat in quietness and began thinking. What had happened? My last way of escape has been closer. Nothing more than that. I am fallen in the trap. I have to shoulder the family now. I have to shoulder the burden. He wronged me in death also. By dying he wronged me. In living he wronged. And in dying also he wronged me. He continued to wrong even after death. There was no help for me in my life. Oh, good heavens! No godmothers and godfathers, no rich uncles and aunts in my life. Not even a God in my life. Halka began, but she did not shed a tear from her eyes because she had no pity for that man. She had no pity for her father. She never dropped even a tear from her eyes for her father. God, no, there is no God. People talk of God, nonsense. How childish. See, a kind, behearted man sitting there telling he is God. No, all nonsense. There is no God, only human beings. This was the reaction of Halka when she learns that Baba has left, leaving all the burdens and responsibilities on her shoulder. Students, a month passed. One day, the battered suitcase, which Baba used to carry every day when he went to his office, was thrown there in a corner, away from the sight of even mother, because that lady, I don't understand that woman, even in lifetime a single time she has not spoken softly towards Baba. She has never treated him happily. But even now, in deep night, in deep sleep, I hear that old woman mourning, weeping, pressing her face on the pillow and weeping silently. I couldn't understand why should she weep? A man who gave no happiness, who did nothing to that woman. One day, secretly, Alka took that suitcase and opened it. There was a lunchbox, cleaned up. He had the food. Then newspaper, orderly folded and kept. His glasses, which he uses for reading. Aspirins, which he carries. Throughout his journey, sometimes he applies it for the frequent headaches he gets. Then, under that, in the suitcase, there was a book. A book which he carried always to read on the train. What a pity! All small things that a man carried in his life. Alka felt a bit of pity for the man. But it was not the pity of a daughter, but it was the pity of indifferent pity of a stranger for another stranger. And then, as I took off everything, under them I saw 2 letters, possibly written in that morning before he died. One was addressed to his elder brother, the other beside. I took the one which was written to elder brother. I opened it. Alka opened it. My own name jumped out. Yes, the letter started with Alka's name. Alka started reading the letter. Alka will be starting her job next month. I still feel guilty about Alka. But what can I do? And then I have confidence in her that she will make something of herself in spite of all odds. She has some guts. My Alka has some guts. She has got the standing hair. If only one of my children achieves something in my life, mine will be a worthy life. Students, listen to the touching words that Father has written. My Alka has guts. She has some standing hair. If only one of my children achieves something in life, my own life will have some worthiness. How? Addressing his elder brother in the letter. How? Have you ever read David Copperfield book? Have you ever read David Copperfield book? God knows how or why I started reading that. While reading that book, I found a sentence which became my gospel in life. Now that book is my Bible, the gospel which I believe in. One line in that David Copperfield book. In our children, my dear Copperfield, we live again. Students, I repeat the sentence. In our children, my dear Copperfield, we live again. How true that saying is. In our children, we parents live again. Students, Alka, who opened the letter and started reading so far, had a drop of tear in her eyes, but now when she saw this, When she saw this sentence, Alka started crying like a little child. No one could stop her. Immediately there comes Shirisha and Rekha, Shobha, everyone running. Alka, what is this? Why are you crying like this? We have never seen you crying. Stop, Alka, stop. You don't cry like this. If mother sees, don't cry like a child. Don't cry like a baby, Alka. Students, this is the awakening of Alka. As the title, the awakening of Alka. So far, Alka never shed a tear. She hadn't even a little bit of mercy or kindness or pity for her Baba. Always, she hated him. He called him a fool, a nonsense man. But when she happened to read the letter that was written to Bhavu, the elder brother, in that the words written about her, I will live through my daughter Alka. I have confidence in her. She has the guts in her. She will certainly become successful in her life. The tears now run from Alka's eyes. Are not the tears of childhood. They are not the tears of childhood. They were the first tears of adulthood. Bitter, salty, and painful. Those tears were bitter, salty, and painful. Students, here we understand the relevance of the title, The Awakening. This is a rebirth of Alka. Imagine how Alka would feel. So far, how much she hated her father, Baba. But at this moment, she understood her Baba was a storehouse of love and affection, dreams and future goals about the children. Through my children, I will live again. Through my Alka, I will live again. The last words of Baba written in the letter as he read from David Copperfield book, which became his Bible. Students, in conclusion, what I want to say is, parents sometimes may not express all their aspirations to children. Troubles and tribulations of life may not make them tell everything to you. They silently bear like a charcoal they burn inside. But don't think that they never love you. They have no affection for you. Helplessness make them silent children. Baba became a silent, dumb man because of his helplessness. What a touching story of a 17 years old teenage girl, Alka. Students, this is the explanation for the wonderful story of Shashi Deshpande, The Awakening. Thank you.